We understand at the present that there's a gender revolution going on and that this has come about from the sexual revolution. And in one sense, that is the case, because we wouldn't be here if it were not for the sexual revolution. But one aspect that we don't take into consideration is that there was a real dramatic change in the mid-1980s. In the 1960s, the late 1960s, society threw off the shackles of the conservatism in the 1950s. Sexuality was freed and people could live however they wanted to in terms of sexuality. It was removed from the sphere of marriage. Sex was just good in of itself. The pill put children out of the way and people could just kind of enjoy it for the sake of it. But when we come to the mid-1980s, we see a real kind of change happen. And the reason this change happened was because there are a number of people who didn't feel as though that freedom that was won by the sexual revolution applied to them. And so there was a dramatic change in the mid-1980s where these people, who were lesbian, mainly intellectuals, needed to find another way to bring the sexual revolution to its logical conclusion. This is queer theory, and what happened there was that these intellectuals decided to, instead of operating above the ground, so to speak, to try and create spaces where they could live out their sexuality as a good thing, which wasn't happening, they decided to move underground in a kind of metaphorical sense. And so for the last 30 years, these intellectuals have been burrowing, if you like, and developing these theories that have been slowly impacting society. And so what we're seeing at the moment is not so much a revolution, but a process of reform from within. So these theorists have worked within the existing structures to reconstitute the foundations, if you like, which have slowly grown in society over time and have started to bear fruit. So what we're seeing now is not so much another revolution, but a response to the failure of the sexual revolution to give some people what they desired, sexual freedom, mainly lesbian and gay people. So that's where we're at. We're not going through a revolution, but we're experiencing the fruit of a reform that was in response to the failure of the sexual revolution.